Hello, good people of YouTube, Mountbatten here, and yes, finally, here is the final replay in the Oh Crap Moments replay contest. Yes, I know this took almost a week to get up on the channel, but I had trouble opening up this replay file, and I had to go in and do some PC stuff, some PC nerd stuff to get the replay file to work. But here it is finally. And this is Mr. Frodo here in the Tier 10 American Heavy Cruiser, the Des Memes, or the Des Moines, if you want me to say it correctly. Again, I don't know a whole lot about this ship. I mean, I know it's got, I believe it's 203mm guns, great AA, no torpedoes. You can equip radar and the defensive fire consumable, and it has a pretty nice heel. I do have the premium version of the ship, the Tier 10 Salem, which for all intents and purposes is pretty much the same ship. Salem has a bit better heel, and one or two other things. But this replay, it's another roller coaster, as we will soon see. And this is Epicenter on, I believe, is this Islands of Ice? Yes, it's Islands of Ice. Of course, it's Islands of Ice. And we also have a thunderstorm front, or in this case, a snowstorm involved in the game. And you will see that Mr. Frodo here makes pretty dang good use of it. So he's rolling up on the snowstorm front right here. There's a Khabarovsk and a Republic spotted already. And you see his team's pretty thinly spread out, which is never really a good thing in Epicenter. Because what usually happens, one team groups up and takes cover behind the islands while they focus fire down on the other team, and he's already being targeted here by someone on the enemy team. There's a Zal and a Salem now spotted, the ship I was just talking about. And he is making his way into the snowstorm front. I'm not sure if this is exactly his plan, but he certainly makes good use of it, as you guys will see here. And when you're in a snowstorm or a thunderstorm, your detectability goes down a bit. Shells fired in at you, and I believe shells fired out of the thunderstorm front are less accurate. So it's kind of like the Cyclone, except you stay visible, and it moves too, which is really cool. I'm glad they're finally adding in some weather effects into the game. And also, I think it just looks really cool. The wind effects, and you can see the snow being whipped around, and the bottom of the screen is kind of icing over because he is in a snowstorm. I think that's really cool that they made it a snowstorm, not just a thunderstorm, on the maps that are in the polar regions, if you will. So things seem to be going pretty standard so far. We're about 4 minutes in. No one's been sunk yet because it's a Tier 10 game. And Mr. Frodo here, he's actually pushing up pretty aggressively, especially for Epicenter. Epicenter usually goes way more passively than this. Normally the destroyers will charge into the middle if they're brave and try to cap the middle. Because how this normally goes, the middle gets capped, and whoever caps the middle is usually the one who wins. Because the other team they don't want to push in hard, because if they get into the middle and they're not in a destroyer or a ship with really good concealment, they get targeted and focused on. And it looks like a good amount of ships have made their way into this snowstorm so far, and Mr. Frodo here is opening up on the Salem, and he's using AP, and I'm not sure if it's a dememe thing. Well, I mean, there you go, a freaking Citadel, so that speaks for itself. I'm not sure if it's a dememe thing, because I have heard it has a really good AP. But he doesn't switch over to HE on this angled Salem. He keeps on pumping AP into him. Granted, he is aiming for his superstructure, and not his side armor. But he's getting a lot of bounces. And here he goes. He switches on over to HE here. Again, I've just started playing cruisers, so if I say something wrong about what he's doing, I apologize. Started one fire, and looks like, yeah, the Salem put that one out pretty fast. That's an unwise move by that Salem. Especially with the Salem, because the Salem has a really good heal. As a battleship main, I don't put fires out until I get 3 fires on me if I'm above half health, or 2 fires if I'm below half health. And that with the heal the Salem has, you probably should let that fire burn, because cruisers get a nice 30-second burn time versus the battleship's 60-second burn time. So he certainly could have rode that fire out a bit. However, he is being focused on by pretty much everybody in range, as you can tell. There you go. That is Mr. Frodo's first kill of the game. He himself is on fire, but he decides to burn his repair to mitigate that, which the fire goes out in 3 seconds, and he still has 20 seconds of heal left. I mean, that's a really nice burn time. I'm jealous of that. Oh, look, some torpedoes. Who doesn't love some nice torpedoes? And fortunately, they run out before they get to Mr. Frodo, because that would have frickin' hurt. Now Mr. Frodo is pushing in with the snowstorm into the rings here. His car first is being spammed by that Khabarovsk. Not a whole lot's going on around him right now. They seem to have dealt with the group that was pushing up on the eastern flank, and now they're pushing in the little group that Mr. Frodo is with. As you can see, both teams are, I'm surprised, they are pretty highly dispersed across the map right now. Normally, one team finds an island to hide behind, the other team finds another island to hide behind, and you just shoot at ships that keep poking their heads out. Speaking of ships that are poking their heads out, here's 2 Des Moines that are pushing into the central circles. Which again, I'm surprised that they have cruisers pushing in this early on in the game. Normally you don't see that till the last 6 or 7 minutes, especially in a tier 10 game. Someone on his team called a detonation. I believe that was the destroyer. Yeah, it was their Shimakaze, so now they're down to just 1 destroyer, while the enemy still has their Khabarovsk and they're shimming up. What is the last destroyer on Mr. Frodo's team? So Harugamo has. It's a good destroyer to have remaining last, because that thing can outgun some cruisers. So point situation. Teams are fairly even on points. Mr. Frodo's team has 458, enemy team 455. However, Mr. Frodo's team is 3 ships down, while the enemy team is only 2 ships down. And there you go. Enemy team just captured the central circle. I mean the mid circle, and they are beginning to earn points again. Another Des Moines with the space camo has decided to challenge Mr. Frodo. Mr. Frodo again shoving AP into his face. Again, I'm not sure if it's a Des Moines thing, and the AA can potentially do damage from the front of another battle-taking cruiser. However, that frankly didn't matter, because the Yamato just deleted him. There's a Bismarck out at 10 kilometers, and a Republic. Ooh, 435 health left. Can Mr. Frodo snag the kill? No. The Kronstadt got that, and you just noticed in the kill feed, enemy Shimakaze just torpedoed the friendly Harugamo. That's kind of embarrassing. I can't say much, because I do have Harugamo, and I've been killed many times by a torpedo in that thing. Now Mr. Frodo's moving into the mid-circle, which is halting the points gain for the enemy team, and Mr. Frodo's team does still have control of the central circle, so they still are getting points. Right now, the teams are balanced in terms of ship kills. However, Mr. Frodo's team doesn't have any destroyers left, which is not something you want to happen halfway through a tier 10 game. Now, this Republic's kind of edging his way towards the Frodo. Republic's a monster when it comes to dealing damage to cruisers. It's 17.5-inch guns, reload in 20 seconds, so if they overpin you, they got another round of pain not too long after that. Plus, its secondaries are really, really good at dealing with cruisers. Mr. Frodo's trying to use the map glitch to get a view on where the Republic is going. And for those who don't know, the map glitch is when you keep tapping M, because it kind of gives you an overhead view when it transitions to the tactical map. You also get the same effect by hitting Control, Shift, and Backspace, which will give you into free cam mode. Which will put you into free cam mode. Anyway, the Republic is coming around this corner right now, full speed. Mr. Frodo is right in front of him. Not the best place for a cruiser to be. However, Mr. Frodo is being backed up by an FDG, who thankfully deals with the Republic before it can do any damage to Mr. Frodo. Now the situation is still, it's up there. Enemy Shimakaze just took out the friendly Yamato. So now Mr. Frodo's team is at a ship disadvantage. However, they are capping all 3 rings right now. As you see, the enemy ships that are detected, at least, are well outside of the cap zones. However, that was an almost full health Yamato, and there's a half health Khabarovsk, who is currently chipping away at Mr. Frodo's division mate in the Salem. And now the FDG is catching some HE span and is on fire. That Salem's not looking too hot. He's below half health, and that Khabarovsk is not easing up on him. Again, that completely full health Yamato is now pushing in. That's quite the ship to have full health through half of the game. That's the last thing you want to see coming in, a full health Yamato. Probably a more terrifying thing to a cruiser would be a full health Kerr first coming into secondary range, especially in epicenter. And oh, look, a full health Montana too. This match just keeps getting better and better. And there's a Shimakaze. Now, Mr. Frodo is holding his fire here, and I can't entirely blame him because there's a Monty 10 kilometers away and a Yamato 11 kilometers away right behind him, both coming into the air where Mr. Frodo is. And the Des Moines is not exactly the tankiest cruiser around. It can take some hits, but from my experiences shooting at it in both Monty and Yamato, it is not that hard to delete, so I can't blame him for holding fire there. And there you go, they now have complete control of the epicenter, and they will start to gain a lot of points here. However, they are down in the ship department, and they just... Oh, Mr. Frodo's friendly Zao just sunk the enemy Musashi, so it's looking pretty good right now. Not torpedoes, which fortunately are not directed at Mr. Frodo, but the FDG. And the FDG is unfortunately showing broadside to a Yamato, and looks like he just ate... Oh, yep, there he goes. Monty just spanked the crap out of the FDG. And now there's a Monty and a Yami that want to shoot at something, and the closest thing for them to shoot at is Mr. Frodo in his Des Moines. This is where things start to get a little dicey. You got a Shimakaze, a Khabarovsk, a Monty, and a Yamato. 4 of them, they're all 4 targeting Mr. Frodo right now. And he is very close to a Monty. This is entirely within detection range, within deletion range. Ooh, there goes most of his health. He pops his heal to mitigate that. I hope he has adrenaline rush. It looks like he does. He keeps pumping AP into the side of that Monty. 3 ships still targeting him. He does have his friendly Salem, who is providing him with a bit of fire support, but still, it's 2 cruisers against a tier 10 battleship. I don't know why he switched to HE there, but he did. Started a fire. And just get 1 Citadel, 8,000 damage. And 1,600 damage, and there you go. He manages to burn out that Monty because of that round of HE. Be it an accidental round of HE or not, he managed to burn out that Monty. Oh, a lot just happened really fast there. So now he's trying to get this Khabarovsk out of the game, still firing AP. I'm not sure if it's because he's just, tunnel visioning right now or what, but hey, it's working. And the Khabarovsk is the only one targeting him, thankfully. Slowly chipping away at that Khabarovsk health, and there he goes, Khabarovsk down. 3 kills from Mr. Frodo so far, and it's not over yet. He's still detected. He just got done firing too, but there is a Shimakaze around here. Shimakaze has many torpedoes, which Mr. Frodo certainly, he can't afford to eat any of that right now. He is being targeted, which means the Shimakaze is hunting him. And oh, he gets a tap on the shoulder there from the Zao. Felt like that was HE. Yeah, that was HE. That was AP. Mr. Frodo might not be here. And oh, Mr. Frodo's down to 2,800 health. Now he's down to 1,100 health. Thankfully, his heal did just come off a cooldown. Now he can begin to recover some of that health. There's that almost full health Yamato, who's pushing into the middle. Fortunately for Mr. Frodo's team, they still have an almost full health Zao and Monty to counteract this almost full health Zao and Yami. And Mr. Frodo is blessed with a broadside Zao from about 8 kilometers away. Oh, he's trying to get up. There's one sitter. There's some torpedoes that are coming up behind him. Yeah, if he had continued to go in the direction he had been going, he'd be a dead Des Moines right now. So, quite funny that Zao's HE to his broadside did just save him. Man, I don't know what that Yamato's doing, but he is getting chunked. Certainly not angling enough to that friendly Monty. And Mr. Frodo is currently chipping away at that Yami's health. He's targeted him, I'm assuming, by the Shimakaze. Friendly Zao got some torpedoes off on that Yamato. There he goes. Friendly Zao got the Yami. And now the enemy Zao launched some torpedoes at the friendly Monty. I wonder how this is going to go down. Took 1, 2, and he's dead. So now it's Mr. Frodo and an almost dead Des Moines against about half health Zal, but fortunately for Mr. Frodo, his friendly full health Zal is still around to give him a hand, but that enemy Shimakaze is still around. This is not in the bag yet. Granted, they are up. Here we go. There's that Zal again. Again, giving Mr. Frodo an almost perfect broadside, which Mr. Frodo does take advantage of. Trying to get another Citadel. Oh, there we go. One Citadel, 11,000 damage, but he gets behind the island. So now it's Zal on Zal, and Mr. Frodo is moving in behind the Zal. I'm assuming if he tries to run, Mr. Frodo can easily delete him. Ooh, some big hits on that Zal. It's on fire. It looked like 2 places for sure, maybe 3. 800 health left on that Zal. And there we go, Mr. Frodo's 4th kill of the game. But now he is still detected because that Shimakaze is still around. And Mr. Frodo is at 11,000 health with no heals left. However, they are capping the mid zone, and he's no longer detected, but he is located. Granted, there's only 3 minutes left in the game, and I know they buffed the Shimakaze's guns recently, but unless you get some glorious torpedoes off, this game's almost a certain win. He is hard spotted, so the Shimakaze is within detection range, which also means he's probably within radar range too. Oh, there are some torpedoes, and they will just run out. That would have been a dead Des Moines right there. There's a Shimakaze. Mr. Frodo does have HE loaded. And Shimakaze decides he's just going to go down swinging, so he starts firing his guns. Looks like he broke a torpedo tube there. And wow, RNG's is giving some really crap dispersion. There he goes. Took out an A module. 700 health left on that Shimakaze. And there's Kraken Unleash. Wow, that was an amazing game right there. That, especially in the middle with that Montana and Yami and Kalbarowsk and Shimakaze all targeting him. He managed to keep his cool, take out that Monty, and got 5 kills in the process. Certainly a major contributing factor to his team's victory. Would have been a completely different game if he had been there to almost single-handedly fight 5 ships at once. So again, Mr. Frodo, fantastic job. Alright, so for the replay contest, what I want you guys to do now, go ahead and in the comment section on each of the 5 videos that I've posted up over the past couple of weeks, comment on which one you guys want to win the viewer's choice. And I guess I'll leave this video up for 2 days, and then I will put a video announcing the winner of the contest and the winner of the viewer's choice. So if for whatever reason you guys choose the same video to be the viewer's choice as the winner, whoever gets the runner-up in the viewer's choice will then get the viewer's choice. Alright, so go ahead and get on to commenting. Just say, I want this one to be viewer's choice, and comment on that on Shifty's video, on Targaryen's video, on Gamebird's video, and on Mr. Frodo's video, and I believe I'm leaving one out. Oh yeah, and on Addison's video. My bad. I'm sorry, Addison. So go ahead and do that. I'll give you guys 2 days to let the voting roll out for that, and I'll be back here in another couple days to let you guys know who won overall and who won the viewer's choice. So again, thank you guys for watching. Catch all you guys in the next one.